Gentlemen, good afternoon, good evening.
Give me 1 minute. Don't go live yet.
Oh, sorry, I'm on live already. I think not quite, but yeah, almost. Okay,
Can't see
we're on live.
properly yet. Yeah.
Yeah, we are on live. Okay, great, great.
Okay.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Um, Ramadan Mubarak, wherever you are. Tonight, I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Joey Goswell, and we're going to talk about issues that are affecting our country, ranging from the uh, the security concerns that people are experiencing in the country, whether it's hyped or whether it's a real concern, and what the UDP government can do about it. If you vote for us in 2021 December, as well as the issues at the TRRC. We have seen Mama Singate came on board, and the debate has started on social media about Yaya Jame and his audio, and whether that was what emboldened him. And yesterday was Labor Day in the Gambia, so we're going to talk about those issues. We have about an hour or so before Ndogu, before the fast break, before Sunteo AC. So welcome on board, Mr. Joey.
Thank you very much. Kejao, it's always a pleasure to be invited to this forum for us to discuss the issues which are at stake as we begin to reach towards 4th December when the Gambians will have to decide their destiny. And our program is basically just to alert people about what the party intend to do if elected into office. We are not here to totally castigate. Whenever we castigate or criticize, we come with constructive criticisms. This forum is a forum for all of us Gambians, and anybody can come in, and if we say something which is not correct, you are free to rectify us. And first and foremost, I say Ramadan Mubarak to my Muslim relatives and friends. It is part of our culture and our tradition to respect people's religion, and it's something which I have always known to have embraced as part of my upbringing. So over to you, Kejao.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Goswell. I think, yeah, okay, your video was gone, but it's back again.
Yes.
Yeah, it will be great if you can tilt it a little bit so that we can see more of you than your background behind. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. And if you can tilt it to your right a little bit, so I mean to your left, so that we can see more of your right. The other way, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, we can see the flower and the vase.
I think, is that okay?
Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. But still, if you can tilt it a little bit more, so that we can see more of you than what is on top of you. Okay, that's getting there. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Goswell. We are going to talk about issues affecting us as usual, affecting our party, and any suggestions that anybody may have. Please bring it on board so that we can talk about it, we can discuss it, and we can put forward the proposal to our party leaders, because they are listening to these programs, and the aim of this program is to inculcate diversity, to bring in more to more belongings to everybody in the Gambia, so that people can make sure that they feel part of, every diverse people can feel that they're part of UDP, and that it's not a one tribe party, a one section party, or a one group party. You know, so this is what that's what the aim of this forum is. So that's why we don't speak Mandinka or Wolof or any other. That's why we speak lingua franca, and it's a lot bit harder for any political forum to do that because of the situation of our country. But we'll try our best and see how it goes. So on to Mr. Goswell. The security concerns in the country. You know, last week there was a video, there was a CCTV of a lady who went to the market with her friend, and they started stealing. And there has been so many other allegations, which many of them have been found false. And so they're giving the country the image that it's not safe. You know, sometimes I feel that this is orchestrated by APRC people, yeah, Jammeh's people, but occasionally we have our genuine concerns that people don't feel safe. And this is a very, very serious worry. And how do you think the UDP government, if we are voted in 2021, can do? And what do you think is lacking in this country when it comes to security, Mr. Goswell?
I think it is very unfortunate that we had a coalition government that when they won elections, they did say they were going to have security sector reforms.
Mm-hmm.
It looks as if the security sector reforms were more of looking at security as to the territorial integrity, rather than looking at internal security as to the welfare of the people and to secure the people's welfare. And that is where the failings have been. I have been fortunate to read some aspects of the security sector reform. And what I have seen, it hasn't addressed the issue about community policing. If it has, I am yet to see tangible reforms. I'm yet to see evidence of it being demonstrated at the moment. We've had almost 4 years of this government, and it looks as if law and order is sort of being compromised. Now, whether we like it or not, this is something that never used to happen under a dictatorial system that President Jammeh had. It looks as if now people's so-called freedom is being abused to the state that people will commit crimes because are able to commit crimes. Now, how do you stop it? There should be more investment in community policing. There should be more investment in our policing, in our police system. It looks as if that is failing, and that's why human capacity is a problem. And where human capacity is a problem, Ejao, then you have the problem with law and order. Now, if we were to do a statistics today, if I had asked one of my MPs to ask a parliamentary question to the Minister of Interior, for him to give a detailed account of the amount of crimes which were committed in the last 18 months, it will be shocking. It's either these things are being shown because of now we have the social media and we have a so-called freedom that we can publish anything, or this is something that's been happening because several and serious crimes for the last 18 or 24 months have been committed in the Gambia. Robbery, murder, theft, you name it. All these crimes are coming out in the public domain. So it is either we are not doing well with community policing, we haven't invested into law and order, and the criminals know where the weak points are and they're using it. Because it looks as if that we spend all our money on trying to have, let Jammeh not come in, let there not be enemy. But the inward security is a problem. And you being a security personnel, a man with experience, you can tell us what is the problem. Because I'm giving you what I think the problem is, and I'm not a security man. But from observation, these are the issues which should be looked into. Now, we have local authorities who also should be involved in community policing. Now, how do you do that? Maybe we think about decentralizing our police structure. Is it that the police structure is in need of reform? These are things that I doubt whether was covered in the secret sector reform. So there I leave you for now to come up with your own opinion.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Goswell. Yeah, I think you have raised very pertinent issues here that we can look into, and the concerns that we have. I think there's a perception that we have more security concerns now than ever in our history. And as I must say, this is a fact. It's not an illusion that we have some concerns about security because of the fact that our we are not in a dictatorship now, and what dictatorship does is dictatorship puts terror in everybody, including the thieves, the robbers. When they take them to the police station, the police can just lay them out and whip them. Torture was rampant in the country, and even the thieves know this, that if you are caught doing anything in the Gambia, whether it is sexual assault, whether it's robbery, whatever it is, they will lay you out and beat you mercilessly, and you will confess by force where you take these items from. And then our security forces were also on. It was almost like a police state. They were constantly patrolling. Now we cannot go back to the days when we have a lot of torture and inhuman treatment of our suspects, or parading them before televisions. We cannot do those kind of things. But what we can do is increase the patrol, which you call community policing. So we can improve on and increase the number of police that we have on our streets. This is not rocket science. I've seen the new IGP has put so much effort into that now. You have joint forces patrol, and it is intensifying daily. And this will put reduce the crime that is being committed. But to be frank, it's not that big difference between the Yahya Jammeh's days and now the amount of crimes we have. We still have a country that is almost, compared to here or even to Senegal, that is almost very peaceful, very safe to live in. So the hype, I know the people have concerns about it, and we have to look into this kind of things, but it's a lot better still than most of those countries, than UK, than any European country, than America, than even Senegal and Ghana. Yeah. But apart from that, also we have the fact that our security forces are not, as I said, because they cannot use torture to obtain confessions from the suspects. Sorry, Mr. Goswell, I can't see you.
Can you see me?
I think your video is gone, but it's fine. I'm
Can you see me now?
Yeah. Great. And it's up now, and it's clearer now than ever before. So because they cannot use the instrument of torture, which is an international crime, to obtain suspects confession from suspects. This has delayed the finding the police work, and so the police really need training. They need training on investigations, on interrogation techniques, and we need technology to help them out. We need CCTVs to help. But lately they're doing great. I think the woman who was stealing that the CCTV caught was also, I think they're arrested. The suspects have been arrested. So hopefully they are the people concerned. And also the Guinea-Bissau man who was giving false evidence was also arrested, and we understand that he's trying to take advantage of the situation and lying to the police and lying to the public. So we urge our people to be vigilant, to report whatever they've seen, but also to be careful about what they put out there. We have also seen Kek Sane, his kidnap issue was also found to be false. So I think it's a little bit concerned, but what is more concerning is Yahya Jammeh coming out, playing the video and audio that he had played like 3, 4, 5 years ago about toads being more secure when he was there, that nobody was dying. You know, so he's playing in the hands of Yahya Jammeh. So, and that's where the danger lies. So we have to politicize the security part. Okay, so if we move on, and I hope our people's fears have been allayed, that, you know, security is a concern, but it's not such a concern that we have to be fearful. And I've even heard some people saying that Yahya Jammeh should come back. You know, I think that's a wrong perception, and it's totally wrong. I think people are blowing out of proportion, and it's playing in the hand of Yahya Jammeh. And that's a dangerous thing. I think we have to trust our police. We have to help them out. That was why it's very, very important that Barrow did not politicize the police as far as the IGP's appointment was concerned about a month ago. So yeah, moving on. What about the recent? We have seen a recent article that was out. I'm not sure whether it's official. The composition of the NPP's you know, officials, their members, the executive, and we have not heard of any voting that's happened. So what do you think was happening? Did you see? I think you saw the list yourself.
Well, I've seen it, and there are two things I've got to say. The NPP is under 2 years old.
Yeah.
So technically, they are not mandated to have a Congress.
Yeah.
Other parties have. They said every 2 years. Now, as a result, they can set up an interim executive whilst they go to their. I'm sorry. I'm giving them advice how to do it rightly. I better keep quiet.
No, but they've said it already. They've said it already.
But the problem is
democratic.
Yes, but the problem is that is not that's an interim executive, which means eventually they will have a Congress sometime to elect who they think should hold such posts up to election.
But that's going to be too late, because by then
it shouldn't concern us. It shouldn't concern us, in fact. You understand? Yeah. But the burning issue is you cannot be an executive member of a political party and being paid by Gambians taxpayers' money.
Exactly.
With the exception of the president.
Yeah.
With the exception of the president. Anybody who is there, president and the vice president, anybody else who is there, who is a public servant, civil servant, cannot be a member of the executive committee. When we had our first Congress, when I say we, I mean UDP in 2018, there were some individuals that had to step down because they were working in the civil service.
Yeah.
Now I see names that are paid by the government, and they're part of the the general public orders. They comply with it. They get a salary from the government. The salary comes from the consolidated fund.
Yeah.
Those people should not be in the executive.
What can we do about it?
Well, what we can do, I mean, we remember the case of the deputy IEC chairman that they proposed.
Yeah.
Once it was discovered that he was a member of UDP, of NPP, there was a protest.
Yeah.
So now, these people, either they resign from their posts as national advisors and continue as an executive member, but they can't have both.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is, I'm expecting the executive, the UDP hierarchy, to be very mindful of this unconstitutionality, because we cannot be employing somebody that will say, I am in the executive. So it comes out to say that these people were not, these personal presidential advisors were basically an extended arm of the NPP in government.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is illegal. So
and who are those people?
Well, I've seen the names. I think Dembo Byforce is a national president of the UDP, of the NPP.
Yeah.
I know people will say Dembo was part of was UD when he was UDP. We didn't complain.
Yeah.
Yes, they will say that. But the problem is when you look at somebody like Lamin Cham, I understand that he is a member of the executive.
Yeah, he's being paid taxpayers' money.
He's paid with taxpayers' money.
Mm.
So these are situations where we have to look at it.
Yeah.
Is it constitutional? Is he a civil servant?
Can we take the matter to court if we protest and it's not doing anything about it?
Well, this is the problem is happen when we protest with IEC. Because now I'm looking at it. Unfortunately, we did not do it when Dembo was there. Dembo should have never been the legal, the religious advisor, because if when he was UDP national president, we shouldn't have made him to call that post as national president whilst he's a religious advisor. And it's come to haunt us now. But it doesn't haunt us to challenge the other presidential advisors, who I believe.
But the man is not educated. Why was UDP and NPP making him so important? He doesn't know.
No, but the problem is
national
president is mainly, if you look at the role of national president, it's mainly to preside over the meetings. Instead of the elders, it's to preside over the meetings. It's sort of the chairman of the party. You understand? Okay. That role is just a chairman. It's not a party leader. It's just a chairman of the party. He presides over meetings. He takes control of all of it.
But my point is, he doesn't know. He is not educated in the English sense or in the Arabic sense or any other sense. Otherwise, he would have told them, I cannot do both because I've sworn to the Quran to hold the law, because these are very important. These are very serious issues.
Well, you see, the problem is you're saying this, but I remember when Baba Joe was assistant secretary to the president's office, he was still a executive member of APRC.
Yeah, I mean, APRC are bandits.
And I remember
they cannot hold our standards.
And I remember when Rambo, I think Rambo was an executive member when he was made Palm Sec in the office of the president.
Yeah.
So if we talk about institutional reforms and we're playing with these posts, giving people posts whilst they're partisan, then we are setting a bad example.
Absolutely.
And I think it's time that we get this thing right. Because if we can stop somebody from being an IEC deputy chairman, then definitely we can stop somebody from being presidential advisor if he's an executive member of any political party.
So we have to rely on the outcry from the social media.
Well, not the outcry. I would expect the leadership of UDP and other political parties and GDC, GMC to start investigating this and see whether it's legal or illegal.
Yeah, but we've seen lately only Uncle Husseinu and his team are coming out to condemn this kind of things. We don't see it from Doi or did they during their last press conference? I didn't watch it.
Well, the problem is this is a UDP forum. I would not be talking about Doi or any other political party. We have to take the lead. We took the lead in 2016, and we are
the main opposition leaders, but we have to tell those people too. You mentioned that they should condemn this. So I mean, if they're not taking it, we should take them to task.
Well, I'm expecting my party to take the lead, which is UDP.
Yeah, we should.
And I'm expecting them to take the lead.
Do you think they should go further and take the matter to court?
No, but it's too early now. They need to protest about it first.
Yeah.
And question the legitimacy of having them in the executive.
Another matter you raised was the deputy leader, the deputy commissioner for independent electoral commission, and I've seen lawyers complaining that there's no such position in any law. In fact, the new guy there shouldn't be there. And under what law was he being sworn under?
Well, I am not aware. I mean, I'll have to look at that properly. But I know that there was always an executive, and they have a deputy, because I know that when Momar Njai was chairman, Male Sek Male Sala was also the deputy.
Yeah, yeah.
So when Uncle Gabriel Roberts was the chairman, the late Tiliwa Johnson was the deputy.
Okay.
So that post of deputy has always been there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Then thank you for those What about the TRRC? If we come to the next issue, we've seen Fatima come out. Fatima, what's her name again? Mama Fatima, and she came out to almost defend the dictatorship of Yahya Jammeh. I mean, she didn't say it, but she was almost saying that there was no dictatorship at all, and that there was no human right violation. There was no serious human right violation, that almost all the countries in the world violate human rights. And the fact, and she was trying to praise her government, that the government that she was part of, saying that, we did very well in education and other things. Do you think we should outlaw those kind of comments, or what do you think we can do about it? Because since if the West can outlaw narcissism, why should we encourage people to praise dictatorship in our country, dictatorship that have done so much wrong? Do you think we're asking for too much when we say that she should lose her job? And what do you think about the whole issue?
As regards to her job, I understand there's a petition out, and we leave it with that petition, and we see what's the end result of it. But what I am saying here is that, as I said before, I think 6 months ago when we started this program, that the problem with the TRRC is the political will is lacking. And the political will is lacking because some people are in denial that this never happened. And where you have that, you have a big problem. There will be no such thing as healing. And before you have healing, you have to have reconciliation.
Absolutely.
And people will not forgive anybody if they're in denial.
Yeah.
And it saddens me that educated people will come before the commission and defend their actions without any sign of remorse. And that's the big problem we're having now. Now, when you look at what's happened this week, last week, when the Attorney General that was served on the APRC, some are in denial, some are justifying their actions, some are even saying things that I find really outrageous. The one that really hurt me is about bail, where if you're patient, your case will be heard.
Yeah.
For me, that is one thing that I couldn't stand. I stand the other bits, but I'm going through all their testimonies. And irrespective of whether this person is now UDP or this person is no longer UDP, I will make my own assessment on how I rate them. I will not prejudice, I cannot prejudice the sittings of the TRRC. But the way I see it is that people should just accept that, yes, when we were in power, we were under so much pressure, we had to do this, and we did it, and we are sorry, and we move on. That's all we're asking for. If educated people cannot take responsibility, how do you expect the illiterate that was asked to do an illegal act? How do you expect the jungler that was asked to do this, and he did it for fear of his life? We're playing with a big, big problem.
Absolutely.
I understand some people think that, oh, this is a witch hunt. It's not political. We need to have a closure.
Yeah.
I would like to know what happened in the case of Deda Haidara. What happened in the case of the 14 students that were gone down?
Chief Mane.
Chief Mane, Kanjiba Kanji. I don't want to politicize, so I'm calling the people that are not linked with UDP. And we have a closure on it, but we can only have a closure if we have a truth commission to look into the facts, investigate the case, come up with recommendations, and we move on.
Yeah.
No one should take this thing lightly. This is about people's lives.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't forget, Koros Sise was younger than both of us, and his life was cut short.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're having a case before the courts. I'll leave it like that. These are cases that we cannot afford to put under the carpet. we must investigate them. We must come with recommendations. And we must look at the state of our prisons. Is it fit for purpose? We look at what we call institutional reforms. So this is where we are at the moment. Talk about those people that were given concoction to consume because they were perceived as witchcrafts. These are things that we need to investigate. And people are start saying that it's a witch hunt. What witch hunt? Lives were lost. People were made widows. People were made orphans. People were castrated. People could not even have kids anymore, female or male. Some were raped. And you're telling us that it's a witch hunt. What witch hunt? Try
and
to
it's cut
seek
across
the
those serious issues cut across every community in our society.
You see, people fail to realize that this is about closure of a chapter. You see, Sierra Leone, South Africa, they've gone through these processes and they've moved on. Benin went through it in a different way. Liberia.
And the chairman keeps reminding them that they needed help so that they could know what's happening, so that we can prevent it from happening. And most of them are still so. I mean, what's wrong with our people?
No, but the problem is people want to. That's what I'm telling you. The political will is not there, because what should have happened in the beginning is to bring all political parties now. They're saying this is about a closure, of which we require your input.
But do you think APRC, because I think they are the only people who are denying this kind of thing. Do you think they will even if we do that?
Well, I think it would have happened. It would have been a success if we started from the onset. At the early beginning, there should have been consultation on this, and say, look, this is what has happened.
That's why I think we should just ban this. Those.
No, we can't ban
call them names.
The problem is, I would not want to see APRC banned. Because
they are going against all kind of dissent.
But the problem is we did not explore the political will.
But even if we have explored it,
if we had explored it and we saw that there was no, then we have a case. Because these people are not even card-carrying members of APRC. They're just junglers. They're just murderers. They're just doing what they're told to do.
But ultimately the responsibility rested with their leader, the leader of the APRC that they are all worshipping.
Well, the problem is when you see people that are operating that way, you look at what happened in Nigeria. They had this strike force that was responsible for going around under Abacha's regime. You had the people like Barnabas Rogers and all of them that were involved in terrorizing people. They were not part of the political grouping. They were just a special group. Jammeh set up a group called the Junglers that, according to evidence, had no links with the army. Apart from wearing their uniform and collecting their salaries, their responsibility was to the head. And they were doing what they can. The Junglers were even powerful than even the chief of staff.
Absolutely.
And you couldn't do anything. And this is what happened, because they will do what President Jammeh tells them. I want this person to give me a confession, and they will give you a confession because of the beatings and the torture that they beat up people. And what the sad thing is, some of the ringleaders are no more with us. They died. Jungul Kamba, the
Musa
Jammeh, and the others. So there, a good amount of evidence is no longer available.
Absolutely.
So we see, this is why my stance on TRRC is our baby. It's about healing the country. We don't need people to say, oh, this is witch hunt. Witch hunt where?
No, but I have never seen any educated person come and deny the things that, I mean, some people have denied it, but they have all condemned what was happening. And they've tried to help the commission, except Mama.
Well,
she has even refused. She has even refused to address the commission, and she was arrogant. She was rude. I mean,
you see, Kejao, you see, the problem is you're trying, you taking it where I would not take it. I'd look at it and the fact that
no, because I've never seen anybody else behave like her. Even the junglers They came and they said, we are sorry. You know, we shouldn't have done this. It was all Yahya Jammeh's fault. But with Mama, she came and said, no, it was fine. We didn't do anything wrong. All that we did was we were dealing with criminals. We had so much, you know what I mean? I mean, why can't people see it as I am seeing it? I don't understand. Because everybody else came. You know, when you're trying to defend yourself, that is part of law. It's part of it's called self-preservation. You're not obliged to confess your crimes. You know, this is okay. But then you are trying to defend the state. Only Mama Singate did that. And that's why I cannot understand why people are saying she is smart. I mean, she's not bad looking. So some of us started having ideas that maybe she's still being blackmailed by Yahya Jammeh, you know, because of a photograph, because they were lovers or whatever. You know, but I cannot get it why she is the only person, apart from Yankuba Toure, that is, even Edward Singate came and said, no, what we were doing was not right. You know, our government was way out of order. You know, but Mama and Yankuba Toure were only two people who came and said we didn't do anything wrong. Even Yankuba didn't say anything.
I mean, if the greatest respect, Yankuba did not even say he was.
Exactly.
He did not even cooperate with the Commission of Inquiry.
Yeah. So if we let Mama get away with this, it's going to set a very bad precedent for the commission and for the reconciliation process. And I don't care who people are saying she's my relative or not. You know, I don't understand why they are. And the problem is, I think most of the people I see who are trying to support her think because when Ami Bensouda came, people were not trying to condemn her. And what she said was what made sense to me personally. I don't know whether it made sense to you.
Well, I mean, the problem is I don't want to. I am yet to follow Mama Ami Bensouda's testimony.
Yeah.
Likewise, that of Mama Singate. But I've seen few glimpses of Mama Singate's testimony.
Mama was horrible.
And I just want to wait until I finish the one that I'm watching now. I should finish it, and then I'll go through all of that. And then I'll be up to date. The one that I've seen so far was that of Henry Diouf, which I found very unfortunate.
Henry Diouf was not. But he was trying to defend himself.
The problem is there's no need to defend us. This is not a law. It's not a court of law.
No, but that's understood. It's self-preservation.
But the problem is that you need to assist the commission.
Yeah.
So that it can give a good account of what happened last 22 years.
Yeah.
And so that we can come up with a report that will enhance our society and take it away from any act of evil that should happen in future. In other words, never again.
Yeah.
So the main idea of this commission or TRRC is basically to have a historic record of what happened in 2 years, how we can stop it in future. Because I'll tell you something, there are people that fear that if we have next government that we'll have, if these measures are not being implemented, if the report is being put under the carpet, it will happen again. They will say, this thing we have wanted TRRC, Daradu Sigena in Wolof. So we need to set an example that it will never happen again. And it's not only punitive, institutional reforms, better prison, better means of investigating cases. Now you talked about the crime rate. There are better ways we can stop it. If we invest in community policing, we will do better. We invest in investigation, invest on how we can control law and order, we will do well. And we don't need to put somebody in a cell and torture him. No. That's a barbaric form of
absolutely.
That's laziness.
Yeah.
Because you cannot do your investigation properly and you think that if I give him some good licks, he'll talk. That's laziness.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe our police need capacity planning there. And we need to, but I think the UDP government will handle that very
well. I'm expecting the UDP government to look to be mindful of what we are seeing now in as regards to the crime rate. And it's best that they start looking at a strategy, a roadmap on how they can address these problems.
Yeah,
because
no, I have had
because people are getting very worried, and people are not going to vote for you if you cannot give them tangible answers on how you're going to sort our security.
And that's what Uncle Usainu did. I was watching his interview, part of it actually. I had to go to the for the because of the rest because I had prior with Ketfatu, and you know and on the security part, and I was very impressed. You know what about his answers and what the problems are and how UDP can resolve them. And I'm optimistic that UDP will be able to resolve our problems when it comes to security.
Well, I pray because this is something which we cannot be complacent with, because if you cannot control crime, then your country becomes unsafe, and if your country becomes unsafe, it cannot attract anybody to come and invest in your country. You know, I had one politician who was saying that the country is developing, that's why there's an increase in crime. That is total logic. Absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
Because when you have that, then the country is unsafe. When the country is unsafe, nobody is ready to invest.
Yes. Now, I think the problem is the tactics that the police were using before, they can't use anymore. You know, they can't parade criminals, they can't beat them up and for confession, as you said. So the crimes are not being solved as we go. And we have seen some murders that are happening. And those are things that we have to train our police to handle. And maybe they need technology. Maybe we need CCTVs, you know, because you saw the guy with the CCTV in his shop, and CCTVs are so cheap. You know, they are so cheap. You know, when we have one or two on the streets of Banjul, on the streets of the Gambia, in the market areas, in public places, you know, we can solve so much problems with this kind of technologies. Okay, so okay, moving on. I think we can move on, but I'm really angry with Mama.
I think there are more ages coming up. I've just gone through some of the decrees. I've seen some decrees that were passed, which were passed during some people's tenure, which I'm waiting for tomorrow, who's coming up. So I think.
No, but I mean, Bensouda, is he UDP? Do you know?
Well, I am made to understand that she is a supporter of our party, but the problem is, you got to bear in mind is that when Ami Bensouda was doing what she did, she was not a member of UDP. Understand?
Yeah, yeah.
UDP was founded on the 23rd of August, 1996.
Yeah.
The things that Fatu Ami Bensouda has been accused of was done 2 years before UDP was founded.
Absolutely.
So
no.
I leave it at that at the moment. But
my problem is because some of us came out to say that, you know, she didn't do anything wrong.
But the problem is whatever they're saying, and the thing that I don't want to say anything now until I listen to her testimony.
Yeah.
No, I have so much respect for her.
Yeah.
As a learned senior in the bar, and I will not compromise that respect, because I think there are other things that we can talk about.
Yeah.
When we follow the evidence as it should. At the moment, in my own case, I am taking my time following evidence of one of the greatest lawyers I've ever come across, Fafa Idris Ambai, and I'm leaving at that. I haven't finished.
I thought he was smart, but I've seen him. I mean, he's a lot smarter than him.
Well, I mean, no, I will not go there. I think Fafa is a great legal luminary, and these things happen.
He's got great memories.
Yes,
I can see that.
Yes. No,
I think when it comes to legal reasoning,
Fafa is an exceptional. There's so much we can talk about Fafa by, but at this time moment, I give him respect. He's more of a father figure to all of us, and this is what we have to bear in mind, that we just leave it in the hands of the commission to decide on whether he can be held accountable for what happened.
No, I think he's not. He didn't do that much wrong.
Well, the problem is the
Yeah.
problem people fail to understand. There are two tiers in this. There were some civil servants that were elevated to the post of Attorney General.
Exactly.
And the people fail to understand that this is why the post of Attorney General should not be a political post.
Yeah.
It should be part of the system whereby government legal advisor. So you are the government legal advisor. It shouldn't be a political appointment.
No, I think it should be, because we have to hold you accountable.
But what I will give you an example. I'll tell you why. When you look at when you made a political appointee, you are likely at sometimes to compromise your position because of the political persuasion. But
yeah,
if
because maybe that's what we want.
But if you made a legal advisor, civil servant, then you go by the ethics of a civil servant, what is expected of you. So in other words, if a government comes in and you think that it is wrong, you don't go by the political persuasion, you go by what your conscience tells you. You advise them on the law, and you don't advise them on the political gain that they will get out of it. So
yeah, absolutely.
If you were in this country, you remember when Britain had to go, had to join America and go on war against Saddam Hussein. They had to rely.
I was here.
They
made the right choice. Please don't go there. We shouldn't start that argument.
No, I'm just giving you an example. I'm just giving how the Attorney General had to look at legal advice. He had to look at the legal advice on it. You understand? He had to give them advice on it. You understand? That's an example where you look at the advice you're giving them. Whether was it legal for them? Was it legal for them to attack Saddam Hussein?
Yeah, I mean,
look at the legal position.
Iraq.
Yes, you forget about the political implication. You see?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna expand the thing. But I have a feeling that that Ami Bensouda did very well. He explained himself very, very well, and I'm really, really impressed. And it's unfortunate that some of the people supporting Mama thought because UDP didn't come out to condemn Ami, and that's why they have all right to support Mama. I mean, I think Mama was way out of order. And
well, the problem is when these
your video is gone.
Sorry, when these witnesses come before.
Okay, it's back and gone again.
When these witnesses come before the TRRC, we should try, especially professional witnesses like lawyers and doctors and all that stuff, we should be mindful of trying to play the partisan politics of this.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't play that. I mean, whoever
it is, you see, as far as that person is coming to give expert evidence.
No, but we shouldn't sacrifice them just because they are UDP supporters too.
Yes.
I mean, we have to tell them the truth.
You see, the problem is we shouldn't.
Because when we come out and defend the APRC or those who are not in politics, nobody complain about that. Yes, but when the person is in UDP and we try to come out to explain what we think, they think it's because we're supporting them because of UDP. I mean, I think that's preposterous.
Well, the TRRC is not UDP's property. It's the Gambia's. It's the Gambia's baby. It is one which this government said that they were going to conduct, and which UDP, with conscience, supported it. UDP, alongside other political parties, supported the whole idea. So nobody should try and politicize the TRRC and say this is a UDP byproduct. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not.
It's not UDP.
APRC and this last one, I see Doi were trying to, some of them were trying to politicize it just because of
I am sure.
Pafamba is from Nyamina, for God's sake. So if we're going to support anybody, we're going to support him.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. The problem is, you wake up Halifa Saleh tomorrow, he will tell you that he supports TRRC. You wake up this because they know that we need a healing process. Exactly. And that's what we need at the moment. We need to heal this country for us to move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I hope our listeners, if anybody who is listening to us is Doi, will understand that this is beyond politics. If you are APRC, it's also beyond politics. And the fact that when we come out to defend people like Babukar Jatta, you know, I came out to defend Babukar Jatta and the others. It was not based on politics. So why should they think, you know, we were defending? I was defending Ami Bensouda based on politics. I've seen some people like even Pata, you know, and even Karamba, you know, they were not supporting Ami, and that's okay. And they were UDP, you know. So,
as I said to you, UDP was founded on the 23rd of August 1996.
Exactly.
This thing happened 2 years and 15 days.
Yeah.
Because Ami was there till the 8th of August 1994. So why should UDP be criticized for something that took place 2 years ago before UDP came into power?
No, they think because we were trying to say what we say because of her son and her membership of.
Well, I mean, the problem is her son is a different kettle of fish. Her son can belong to any other political party.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm
saying. She
may
not even be UDP.
You know, it will not be UDP, no.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's move on. And the last day, Labor Day. Yesterday was Labor Day, and we hope the UDP government can introduce a minimum wage when we come to power in 2021, and also reduce the unemployment rates, the very high unemployment rates that we find in our country, and improve the condition of labor in our country, and remove child labor, you know, forceful, deplorable child labor that we find in our streets, you know, with these almudos and other things, and even on the farms, you know. What do you think UDP government can do about these labor issues?
Well, first, as a student of history, I would not be doing justice if I make any comment without paying respect to two great people in the movement. Edward Francis Small, the first Gambian to form a trade union, and M.E. Jallow Union, who was very instrumental and died in 1987. May their souls rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
Yeah. Now, coming on to the trade union aspect of it, about Labor Day. Yesterday was Labor Day, and I expected to see some. Now, the civil service, you will see that the state came up with a press statement saying that it's Labor Day and they wish the civil servants all the best. Now, I would have loved to see that we change our labor laws in the point that the trade unions, civil servants can belong to trade unions. We are only one of the few countries where civil servants cannot join trade unions.
Do you think that's against international law?
No, they have not signed up to that convention.
Well, you don't need to sign up to the convention if they have signed up to the ILO.
I don't think they've agreed to that, because that's been an issue with even up to date during the days of Sadauda, that civil servants were denied the right to belong to a trade union. So this is the main point that I am worried about. The second point is, we talk about employment. No government can employ a lot of people.
Yeah, but we can put conditions.
But what you can do is you can create an environment that is conducive for employment.
Yeah.
Encourage investment. Give the private sector some incentives so that they can recruit young people to be in the workforce. In addition to that, there should be trade relations law. I know they got tribunals, employment tribunals at the moment, that you can take them on for unfair dismissal or poor work. Make sure the trade relations law are tightened so that you do not abuse any employee. Now, I look at it this way: even those that we call it domestic servants, or as we say in Wolof, Bindan, They have rights. They should have rights.
Absolutely.
They should have unions. They should have unions. They should, so that you don't exploit them. Exploitation of labor is something that is very prevalent in African countries.
Yeah.
Now, if you have these things in plan and you talk about minimum wage, then you have to look at the civil sector, the public and the civil service sectors as regards to wages.
Everywhere. We have to look at
You
everywhere, even in Bindans, right?
But you should not politicize it as they're trying to do.
Absolutely.
You need to make sure that what you're doing is in line with inflation.
Yeah, but we need political will, and UDP can deliver that as a government.
Don't increase somebody's wages, and then the next day the person that sells bread increases bread, and then you have problem, price of bread, and then you have problem. Then it doesn't mean that you have an increment; you just have an inflation. Incentives in the workplace so that people can have minimum and decent working standards.
Yeah.
This is lacking. That's why you see people will leave their office before time. Because what happens is they're not in, there's nothing there to motivate them. You have some people that are having allowance, you have others that are not. Look at the lower grades within the civil service. See how you can give them some skills so they can improve, so they can have what you call a transferable skills.
Yeah.
Not somebody that works in a printing department or in a printing department, and all he knows is just how to use the printer, and that's it.
Yeah.
And he's a civil servant, or somebody who's a messenger, and that's, you have to have transferable skills by making sure that if you work in a certain department, you go through training courses, you access to training, access to scholarships, access to all these things.
I think skills training is UDP's one of UDP's main, and I support that 21st century skills. Yeah.
Make sure that they have the competencies. I mean, you will be surprised that some people will say to me, "Mangine on clerk, registry clerk, nyata at mangine on registry clerk for 20, 15 years." There's no transferable skills. There's no training.
Yeah, and if you start them, they can't survive anywhere else. They can't
survive. Yes, and that is very unfair. That you've just left the person there. You haven't developed the person. Now, in Western democracies, there's what you call training plans. You go to training courses and all that stuff. We had MDI, Management Development Institute.
We still do, yeah.
We have MDI, we have GTTI, we have all these training courses. I mean, there's nothing stopping. If you see somebody that's left school, there could be reasons why he couldn't go to university. Maybe at that time he never had the urge. He was a slow developer. You don't have to deny him that chance. Give him training. You see that he's got the potential, give him training. You know, see somebody that's been in your sector for so long and say, you know what, I want you to do some other packages. You train that person, you enhance, you improving that person, and that person will assist you in your work. But just having somebody there and say, you know, and then what will happen is training becomes difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about child labor? I mean, you know, I think we don't have the problems where, just like Senegal has, about the almudus, you know, those Quranic children who go out begging, you know, and that's some kind of, but we don't have that problem yet, or to a large extent. But do you think that's a concern that the UDP government can take on, because those people should be in school at that time?
Well, put it this way. When I was young, I saw this. I saw the rate of almudis, that if you do not go and get money, then you are in trouble.
Yeah.
Some of them were beaten up. Some of them would cry if they don't get the amount of money they expect from their so-called teacher, or what you call, you understand? Now, what should happen is that I know this government has thought about having a law will make it criminal offense for a child not to go to school.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to see UDP to have something similar.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because what happens is that child should be in school, either in a conventional school or in what we call the madras. And that's something which should be enforced.
Yeah.
Nobody should be, anybody that's involved in any of this should be registered. And any parent that refuses to take a child to school when school is made available to them, they should be prosecuted.
Yeah, yeah.
You see, it's a fundamental right, the rights of the child. African
Yeah.
Charter for Rights of the Child talks about right to education.
And
And
the
you
UN
must not
Convention.
and you must not deny any child the right to education. Yes, you cannot abdicate your responsibility in that aspect of it.
Absolutely.
And unless the government start looking at, I hope UDP government look at availability of schools, making it available, and making it children go to school rather than loitering in the streets, collecting arms to satisfy their so-called teacher or what you call their, yes. That's something which should be discouraged. But that also could be discouraged by our own organizations like this, Supreme Islamic Council.
Yeah, to be fair, we don't have that in Gambia as such. You know, when we were younger, we used to see that, but now I don't think.
Well, I mean, the Almudi culture is still there.
In the Gambia?
Yes, still there, yes. Maybe it's lessened a bit, but it's still there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think now it's a lot more organized, to be fair.
But the problem is now, and this comes up with one thing. We have an institution called the National Council for Civic Education. And I've been saying this some time ago, that institution should be at the forefront of enlightening people about the do's and the don'ts. And that institution, until this government gives that institution enough funding, will continue to have these problems with certain things which should not be taking place in our country. Because the issue about tribalism, the issue about religious hatred, the issue about the Almudi culture, the issue about right to vote, these are things all that they should be involved in.
Yeah, but do you think we are hyping that issue? Do you think we have a concern about Almudi culture, or a concern about the tribalism, or even religious hatred in our country? I think it's a very, very small.
Well, it's very small. It's very small. Kenya, me and you are talking today. I'm a Christian, you're Muslim. You understand? But we all because of the tolerance that we were nurtured through. You understand?
And that is part of our country. I mean, that's part of our culture. You know, I mean, now because we have a little bit of these problems there, especially on tribalism. You know, but still, anybody who looks, you can see that you have Christians in your family, you have Muslims in your family. You know, and you know, intermarriage has been there. You know, so not even Yahya Jammeh could do anything about those kind of things. I think the big problem now is tribalism a little bit. You know, it's rearing its ugly head, and people are still thinking that UDP is a Mandinka party.
Well, I mean, these are cheap blows that they will always hit on us.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to go through a long lecture about it, because I know that it doesn't. There's no justification for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people are saying this. Oh, it's a tribalist party. Oh, why are you in this party? And I'm saying to them, look, you are the one that is tribalist. Because the problem is, no tribe can win election on its own.
Absolutely.
And no political party can be formed by virtue of tribe.
Yeah.
You need to do away from this politics of bigotry that you keep on promoting. I mean, it's a cheap blow that they've used. Jammeh used it in 1996, and for God's sake, we're still suffering from it.
Yeah.
Nobody is ready to accept that tribalism is not, UDP is not tribalist. When you say something, people mean, if you're passionate about your ethnicity, that's not tribalism.
Absolutely.
Your tribalism when you do not want to entertain or tolerate someone else.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, yes, that's what tribalism is all about. I mean, we have moved that after 55 years of statehood, we are still engulfed with this politics of tribalism. And if you do research on it, you realize who started the tribalist politics. But I will not say that.
I mean, well, the important thing is who is continuing it.
People use it for their own,
whoever started it.
People will use it for their own satisfaction.
Yeah.
People use it as it's just like, oh, you're racist. When you've done something wrong, admit that you've done something wrong, and don't say that, oh, you're doing to me this because I'm black.
I'm black, yeah.
You're doing to me because he's white. I mean, admit what you've done, and stop playing the race card or the tribal card.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's racism and tribalism, but not in a party like UDP. I mean, everybody.
Well, I mean, the problem is UDP is not tribalist, and I'm sick and fed up of trying to defend it all the time and say that we're not tribalist. Bring up the evidence.
Yeah.
Tell me who was denied access to the party because of his tribe.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a good point. We probably just try and ask them, because I go out to talk to people a lot. Try to convince them to come to UDP. So when they try to tell me this, that's a good one. I'm gonna keep asking them now. What is your evidence? I mean, where are you basing it on? Because we haven't seen any evidence of it, and so that's a good point. So yeah, okay. So if we wrap it up here today, it's almost 8:30. And we have breaking fast in 3 minutes from my end. So I will let Mr. Joey Goswell say his last words to our people. But we are very grateful for our listeners, and we have seen the number of viewing has gone up. We at any particular time when we are on live, it's increasing, and anytime we finish our shows, it goes into thousands. And so we're very grateful to our people. We know there are challenges that some of our people, especially those in Scandinavia and those in Europe, cannot speak very good English, and especially those in our passionate listeners in Italy and other places, because of the countries that they live in. Most of them have lost their English now, and they would rather we speak Mandinka or Wolof or some other some other language. But we're really grateful to all of you, and we wish and we've got very nice comments here today. Bob Ture, Finland, is saying thank you very much, Mr. Ture and Mr. Goswell, for always coming up with very good show, and we are very grateful to them. To anybody who is watching us now, and we hope that you will continue talking to your people, so that they can come on board, not only to watch us, but also to join UDP, because I think that's really, really important. We cannot rest on our laurels. We have to keep talking to our people so that they come on board and support UDP. I think that's the only way we can take on Adam Barrow and win him. Thank you very much, our listeners. I will leave Mr. Joseph Goswell to give his last words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kejo. It's the second day after 8 weeks of which we're in sabbatical. As I always keep saying, it's always an honor to be here, and I'll continue to be here subject to availability. December 4th is around the corner. I hope all those who are in Gambia register for your votes. Get ready, get your cards ready, and go and register. This is a very important election of which we should work towards winning it. And we can only work towards winning it if those who are on the ground get their cards on time, get their ID cards or their documents are intact so that they can register. I mean, there will be a lot of problems with registration, but if you do follow the due process, you register on time, you'll be on the electoral register. Yeah. And on that note, I wish all my Muslim friends and relatives who are fasting and those who are not fasting because of other extenuating factors, for them to continue to have a very holy Ramadan month. And I look forward to my Salibu, most likely on the 13th or on the 14th of May.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goswell. Thanks a lot, guys. It's fasting time. I mean, break time now. So thank you, guys. God bless you all. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Bye.